Hello, and welcome to Northwestern Emergency Medicine. I'm Amber Fant. I am the program director here at the Northwestern Emergency Medicine Residency. I wish we could be meeting all of you guys in person, but unfortunately, that's not possible. So we'd like to tell you a little bit more about our program. So why Northwestern Emergency Medicine? We're going to talk about a couple of different factors of our program today, and we're going to break it down. First, we're going to offer you world-class clinical education across a multitude of practice sites. We have amazing extraclinical leadership skill development. We practice and live in a vibrant and diverse urban environment. We have outstanding and accomplished faculty and residents. And most importantly, we prepare you for your dream job. So let's start with the world-class clinical education and our training sites. So I imagine that taking care of patients is why you went to medical school. It's the foundation of being a fantastic emergency physician. And while we think that everyone here can accomplish a lot of other things as well, really the patient care is our primary focus. I hope that since you've applied here, you realize that we are a 4-year program. If not, surprise. Why 4 years? I'm sure a lot of people have asked you this if you're considering 4-year programs, and we think it's a really important topic to address. First of all, only about 20% of the training programs in the United States in emergency medicine are 4 years. But if you look at this list of the top 20 U.S. News & World Report medical schools for this year, you will see that everything highlighted actually has a 4-year training program. We think that this highlights the importance of the 4-year format in really being able to achieve the highest level of academics. Additionally, 4 years is almost even not enough time to really learn everything you need to learn to be an emergency physician. We offer a didactic curriculum that is 2 years long that repeats itself twice in the course of your training. This allows you to actually get to see every block, even if you're on MICU or some other off-service rotation that you miss it the first time around. It also lets you get all the way through the curriculum twice, which is great preparation for your boards. The way we set up conference is on Wednesdays. It's 4 hours long, and each block is dedicated to a body system. The shortest are about 4 weeks, and they can go up to about 10 weeks depending on the topics that we're covering. In addition, the interns get an extra hour of foundations, which occurs in the morning before conference starts on Wednesdays. This is a great primer in learning how to be an emergency physician and gets you lots of practice at case-based learning. Within conference time, we also have breakout sessions for ultrasound skills where we go to our simulation lab and work with standardized patients, as well as additional days in the simulation lab where you get to spend time one-on-one or two-on-one with faculty to really hone your skills. Secondly, we think 4 years is super important for your clinical development as well. We practice graded responsibility. What does that mean? What it doesn't mean is that interns aren't allowed to see sick patients. You are allowed to pick up any patient on your shift from day one, and anything that needs to be done for that patient is yours. So if you're on the trauma team on the first day and someone rolls in and needs to be intubated, that's your tube to get. What it does mean is that every year we expect a little bit more out of you in terms of your clinical performance. As interns, we just want you to learn how to be doctors. It's a big transition between being a medical student and being an intern. So we really want you to learn the basics of emergency medicine and really hone your ability to interact with patients. Second year is really about being an emergency physician and practicing efficiency. We want you to pick up the load of the department and really work on being a little bit quicker and moving through the room. Your third and fourth year are both senior years. This means that you're going to be in charge of an area and supervise junior learners. The difference between third and fourth year is that the third year is really about learning this skill. It's not something that you've practiced very much, and so it really takes a year to get the hang of listening to other people tell you about presentations and to be able to go in and help them make the decisions about the plan. It's also where you first start to learn how to teach these junior learners, including your juniors and your medical students. The fourth year is really your year to practice being an attending. Not only are you going to be teaching and supervising your junior learners and advanced practice providers, but you will also be thinking about the flow of the department, what's happening in the other areas and what's happening in the waiting room. This is really the time to actually become an amazing emergency physician, so we think it's really important to have all these years before you graduate. Additionally, 4 years gives us plenty of time to allow you to experience other practice settings, as well as work in the ICU 10 blocks of your schedule. We also offer 3 blocks of electives so you can explore some of your other interests, perhaps outside of the emergency department. In addition to having 4 years of training time, we also think it's super important to be able to train at a variety of sites. This is a map of Chicago. The blue is the lake. Hopefully you're oriented now, even though you're not here with us in the Windy City. The star in the very center of the map is our downtown campus for Northwestern. This is where the main Northwestern Memorial Hospital is located, as well as Lurie Children's. The star way off to the north is Northwestern Lake Forest. This is one of our community sites that we'll talk about here in detail in just a moment. The one down to the southeast is Methodist Hospital in Gary, Indiana, and the other star that's close to downtown is Cook County. We'll go ahead and talk about all these sites in detail now. The mothership is Northwestern Memorial Hospital downtown. This is where you'll spend a large portion of your emergency medicine time, as well as all of your off-service time. It's a quaternary care hospital, one of the top 10 in the country by U.S. News & World Report. We're the #1 hospital in the state of Illinois, and of course the #1 hospital in Chicago. But it's more than just the Purple Palace that you may have heard about. We're the second largest provider of charity care in the state of Illinois, and about a third of our patients actually receive some assistance from the hospital and are underinsured. Our population is vast. We're downtown, so we have the advantage of having all of the international travelers that come through Chicago, as well as everyone who works down here. Our catchment area also goes to the west into the neighborhood of Humboldt Park, which is a largely Hispanic population. In addition, multiple languages are spoken at Northwestern. The primary languages are English, Spanish, Polish, and Mandarin. So if you have second language skills, chances are you may use them on a daily basis. In addition to the U.S. News & World Report recognitions that I mentioned before, Northwestern Memorial Hospital has many other awards to their name. Our nursing staff is Magnet recognized, and we have been designated as an LGBTQ healthcare quality leader. The other thing I want to mention about Northwestern Memorial Hospital is its unique location within the city. This is another map of Chicago that's put together by the Department of Health and Human Services that indicates all of the areas where people who are experiencing homelessness might stay. You can see here that there's a large concentration of these yellow dots right here around our downtown campus where Northwestern Memorial is located. This is for a lot of reasons. Number one, because we're close to downtown where there are other opportunities to be able to panhandle and busk, but additionally, because we're located very close to Lower Wacker Drive. If any of you have seen the Batman movie, The Chase with the Joker was filmed on Wacker Drive. It's a very large cavernous space, but it's protected from the elements. It's a place where a lot of people will set up so they can sleep out of the elements. When they get sick or injured, we're the closest hospital, so that's where they come for their care. The second campus here downtown is the Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital. We spend a lot of time at Lurie in a longitudinal fashion. So instead of doing an entire block of pediatrics, you will go there during your ED months sporadically. This better mimics the way that you see patients in a daily basis in the community, where there'll be a mix of adult and pediatric patients. This is the #1 children's hospital in the state of Illinois, and like Northwestern Memorial, has tons of other awards. The census there is about 35,000 patients per year, and we draw from all over the state, as well as the surrounding states of Indiana, Iowa, and Wisconsin. The ethnic makeup of the patients is diverse, with about 35% of the patients actually being Hispanic, with English as a second language in their home. Again, it's a great place to be able to use your second language skills. Our second site that I want to talk about is Lake Forest Hospital, which was that star way up to the north. This is our community-based hospital, part of Northwestern system. It's about 35,000 visits a year, with 20% of that being pediatrics. Lake Forest is a relatively Caucasian suburb with a fairly wealthy population, but the suburbs directly to the north are actually much more diverse. So you will also see a significant number of Spanish-speaking patients at Lake Forest as well. It's a fast, busy emergency department, and you get to work one-on-one with the attendings, so you really get to see what life is like in the community. Unlike downtown where you work in the teaching teams, you're basically going to be responsible for your side during your shift, so it's a great place for at least our PGY2s to spread their wings. You'll spend 1 block up there in each of your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th years. Methodist Gary is the star that was to the southeast and is one of the favorite rotations of our residents. Like Lake Forest, you'll spend a block there in each of your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th years, and you'll be working one-on-one with attending in these settings as well. Gary is a very different site from Lake Forest in that it's in a fairly resource-poor area that is about 87% African American. It unfortunately has a very high amount of trauma in the community, so even though this is not a trauma center, you will see plenty of penetrating and blunt trauma when you walk through here. This is the place where our residents feel like they get to connect with the community the most and really get to make a difference in people's lives. Each of our sites will have a different video as well to give you a little bit more detail about them, so I invite you to take a look at those as well. The last site I want to mention is the Stroger Hospital of Cook County. This is where you'll spend 2 blocks of trauma, 1 in your 2nd year and 1 in your 4th year. This is the main county hospital here in Cook County and has a huge catchment area. It is a level 1 trauma center, and you'll be dedicated to just taking care of those trauma patients when you're there. This is the place that most emergency residents in the city will rotate for their trauma rotations, but we are unique in being one of the few places that goes there both as juniors and as seniors, so you get the opportunity to both run the trauma room as well as to learn the trauma basics when you're a 2. The next thing I'd like to talk about is our amazing extraclinical leadership skill development. One of the benefits I'd mentioned about being in a 4-year program is the ability to have a little bit extra time to explore the things you're interested in, and we have plenty of opportunities for you to be able to do that from the time you get here. Seminars are actually part of conference time and are a dedicated way to actually learn a little bit more about particular facets of emergency medicine. They're set up to be within the class, so you will have a PGY1 seminar, 2, 3, and 4. As PGY1s, you spend time thinking about evidence-based medicine and learning the ways to interpret basic studies. As PGY2s, we focus on patient safety and then move into really learning how to be a good teacher on shift as you move into your senior role at the end of your 2nd year. The 3rd year continues with learning of how to be a teacher and then completes with sessions about quality improvement. The 4th year seminar is really focused on making you the best candidate you can be for your job search, including brushing up your CV and talking about interview skills. Seminar days are followed by colleges. Unlike seminars where you're broken up by your class, colleges are interclass, and they're a different way to explore other facets of emergency medicine. We have 3 colleges: education, administration, and research, and each of these are run by a team of PGY3s. They will often go through topics within those larger areas so that you can get more detail, as well as work on projects. Here you can see some pictures from our recent colleges where Education College is working on teaching procedures via trying to teach Legos, as well as some academic products that have come out of our colleges. Another thing that is very unique here to Northwestern is the McGaw Clinical Scholars Program. McGaw is the overarching GME institution under which Northwestern Emergency Medicine sits. It encompasses all of the training programs here at Northwestern, and so is a great way to meet people from other specialties. The Clinical Scholars programs are a 2-year mini fellowship where you really get to learn a lot more about specific things. The first one that a lot of our residents do is the Medical Education Clinical Scholars Program, where they start to learn about research and scholarship in education. There's also bioethics, health equity and advocacy, and global health. These are just a few of our current residents that are involved in all of these Clinical Scholars programs. You can learn more about it on the McGaw website. A second opportunity I would love to highlight is the Academy for Quality and Safety Improvement, or AQSI. This is a 9-month-long program that is team-based, where people actually take you from start to finish through a quality improvement program. I'm very proud to say that the emergency medicine residents are the only residents that are actually allowed to run their own projects without an attending helping them, which I think speaks to the quality of the residents that we train. These are just some photos of a few of the past year's projects that include things like decreasing time to CT for women patients by implementing an at-triage pregnancy test, as well as reducing our faculty and resident prescription of opiates at discharge. We also offer a Women's Night. This is a program that's co-run by faculty and residents that really allows our women residents, faculty, and nurses to be able to get together in a casual setting and discuss some of the hurdles that women face in practicing medicine. As you can see, we like to eat, but we also discuss a lot of faculty development things. When you have a chance to speak with some of our residents, I highly recommend you asking about their experience. This has been one of our huge successes over the last 3 years. At Northwestern, we're also incredibly proud of diversity and inclusion efforts. We do our best to try to mimic what our patient population looks like, and that involves active efforts at recruiting a diverse workforce. At the top, you can see a picture of all of our physicians and nurses and other staff that were able to attend a rally at Cook County in honor of Black Lives Matter. The picture that you can see down towards the bottom is actually 2 of our current PGY4 residents who, when they were PGY1s, took it upon themselves to develop a cultural competency curriculum. They have since been able to roll out this entire 2-year curriculum and are studying it. They were fortunate enough to be able to present this in Hawaii, which is what this picture is of. Event medicine is also a huge strength for us here at Northwestern. We are the medical directing site for the Chicago Marathon, which is one of the largest marathons in the country, and our residents often look forward to being able to work the ICU tents at the marathon. Additionally, our faculty are also fortunate to serve as the house doctors for the Blackhawks, which is the hockey team here in Chicago. While our residents can't serve in this capacity on their own, there are certainly ways that you can come and shadow if this is an experience that's interesting to you. We're also very active in community outreach. These are just a few photos of our residents really helping their community. The top center is the EM Day of Service, where they volunteered at the Lakeview Food Pantry, which provides food to many, many people here in the city. The surrounding pictures are multiple events where our residents mentor high school students, trying to increase the pipeline, again, of a diverse workforce. These students get to come in and learn what it's like to be a doctor. They get to practice splinting and other first aid techniques, as well as just get to spend time with our awesome residents. Research is very important to us as an academic institution. Our residents are incredibly engaged in scientific inquiry here at Northwestern. These are just a few photos of our residents presenting their work at some of our national meetings, as well as winning their regional CPC competition. We are able to send all of our residents to SAEM in their 3rd year, which we think is a really great opportunity to learn more about research in emergency medicine. But if you have a presentation that's accepted at a national meeting, we are often able to fund travel for that as well. So we really want to encourage people to be able to get out there and show their work. Teaching is a core fundamental of any physician, including here at Northwestern Emergency Medicine. So there's plenty of opportunities besides just your on-shift teaching where you can really engage in this activity. The medical school is always looking for our residents to come help teach with small group setting, as in problem-based learning or physical exam. Additionally, there are plenty of opportunities to teach clinicians. Our senior residents are actively engaged in teaching the interns in the morning foundation curriculum, as well as teaching our PAs and NPs, both in their orientation sessions and throughout the year. We have a splinting workshop for all of our techs in the emergency department that our residents also run. So whether you're interested in teaching medical students all the way up to full health professionals, we have opportunities for that. As I mentioned at the beginning, I really wish you guys could all be here with us so you could experience what an amazing city Chicago is. It is vibrant and diverse and the 3rd largest city in the United States. Despite being a large city, we are not a concrete jungle. The city planners, when they were building it up, really had in mind that people needed green space. So there are over 500 parks here within the city limits. Additionally, there are 26 miles of beach line that you can ride almost all of it on the bike path. It's a really great opportunity to be able to get out into nature, even in between your shifts when you're living within an urban environment. This is the Bean. So for any of you who haven't been to Chicago, this is a huge landmark. So even if you haven't been here in person, hopefully we can give you a little bit of the feel of the city. In addition to outdoor space, we're a huge hub for sports. We have 2 Major League Baseball teams. We have professional basketball, professional soccer, and really all kinds of intramural sports. So whether you're a fan of watching sports or playing sports, there's plenty of opportunities here. Obviously, things are a little bit different this year, but generally speaking, when our interns are on their orthopedics rotation, they do have the opportunity to attend Cubs baseball games with our sports medicine faculty, which is an extra perk of intern year. Chicago is also a great place for culture. We have over 200 theaters here, as well as the #1 symphony orchestra in the United States. There are also multiple museums, including one of the highest rated art museums in the world. Additionally, Chicago is very well known for its architecture, so there are plenty of opportunities to explore culture when you're not working in the emergency department. Finally, food. Chicago is a food town, and it's probably one of the best bangs for your buck in terms of gourmet dining in the world. We have plenty of Michelin star and Bib Gourmand rated restaurants, but we also have amazing mom and pop places too. You probably know us as a city of pizza and hot dogs, but it's so much more. And if you were able to be here, I'm sure everyone would give you plenty of recommendations of things you have to try. Our residents love being able to go out together and enjoy a meal and a drink, and Chicago's a fantastic place to do it. Any place you're going to train in residency, you want to make sure you're surrounded by people who will be your second family. So I'd like to take a little bit of time to talk about our outstanding and accomplished faculty and residents. You've already had the chance to meet me, but this is the rest of our residency leadership team, including all of our assistant program directors, our director of recruitment, and our 2 amazing coordinators. You'll get to meet some of them in your interviews, but if you have any questions for any of us, we're all available by email, and our emails are on our website, so please do not hesitate to reach out. These are our chiefs. Hopefully you've seen the message from them, but they are 4 of our most wonderful PGY4s. They really set the standard for making this residency feel like a family, and we're so grateful to have them here. These are just a few of the academic interests of our faculty and residents. As you can see, there's a ton of different opportunities, so hopefully something on there resonates with you. 2 things I would really like to call your attention to, however, are addiction and geriatrics. We have a very active research program here at Northwestern in terms of opiate use disorder and addiction. We are a faculty that is 100% X-waivered to be able to prescribe buprenorphine to our patients when they leave the emergency department should they wish to start. Additionally, we have lots of research working on opiate alternatives, including utilizing physical therapy for back pain in the emergency department. We are also incredibly fortunate to have a geriatrics program here in the emergency department called JEDI. It's a multidisciplinary program that helps evaluate our elderly patients in the emergency department to really understand what's safe for them to be able to go back and continue living in the community. This prevents a lot of the potential issues that will arise with admission and really keeps them living their best life. These are just a few photos from conference and other activities that our faculty and residents engage in, showing you some of the wonderful work that they do from an academic standpoint. You'll see the picture in the center is indeed a film shoot. This is actually some of our residents who put together a curriculum for teaching thoracotomy and ended up creating an entire video. So they were able to go through a professional video shoot and create an amazing educational experience for our residents on a procedure that's quite rare. We're not all work. We also like to play, and so these are just some of the things that our faculty and residents enjoy doing. I will call your attention to one thing on here, and that is dogs. We are an incredibly dog-friendly residency, and Chicago is a wonderful dog town. You're able to take your dog with you to a lot of outdoor activities, as well as any bar that doesn't serve food. While we love cats, we really are a dog place, and you may find that even if you don't have a dog now, once you get here, you may quickly acquire one. Just ask a lot of our residents. Retreat is an amazing experience at the end of August for our residents to really get together and learn more about each other and themselves. It's also a time that we're able to reflect on our program and be able to move forward and make changes that need to be done. This is a picture from our somewhat unconventional retreat this year where everyone had to wear masks but still had a wonderful time being able to be together. Our residents have a tradition of using some costumes in retreat, so you can see the amount of fun that they had putting together these group photos. Just a few other shots of retreat. A lot of it is self-reflection and improving the program, but a lot of it is just straight up fun as well. So this is our annual dodgeball tournament. Our current PGY2s are 2-time champions, so if you guys come as interns, just beware, they're coming for you. In addition to retreat, we build in a lot of other time for our residents to hang out with each other and with our faculty. Adams Clubs are evening events that we have once a month where the residents get together in a faculty home and are able to learn. Sometimes this is a journal club, sometimes this is a reflective activity, but in all times it's a case for us to really be together as a group and appreciate each other. We also annually throw a huge barbecue for our interns. This year, again, a little bit different, but normally we have people coming from all over the emergency department to meet and welcome our new folks. Conference lunch, when we're not in the time of COVID, is also huge. I had mentioned that we spend Wednesday mornings in conference, but these are capped by an hour-long lunch in our offices. Our coordinators do a fantastic job of making this a special time for the residents to be able to just relax with each other before they have to go back to shift. Oftentimes there are themes, so when it comes to holidays or birthdays or baby showers, you can expect that something exciting is going to happen at conference lunch. The in-training exam is not fun, but in-training day can be. We use this as our resident celebration day, and we make sure that the residents get a special gift to know that they're appreciated before they have to sit down and take an exam. Additionally, they get part of the afternoon off to be able to relax with each other before going back to clinical duties. As I said, you want to be in a place where people are going to be your family. That includes being present at special events in your life, including weddings. These are just a sample of pictures of weddings that occurred during residency in the last couple of years, and you can see that the residents are surrounded by their classmates and others from the residency. This is, I think, the best example of showing you just how close everyone is here and how supportive they are of each other. In addition to weddings being big moments, babies are also a great cause to celebrate here at Northwestern. While we currently don't have too many of the human kind, we have lots of recently acquired fur babies. So these are just a few of the folks that are part of our residency as extension. Additionally, our residents just love to be with each other. Chicago is a great place to hang out, and so on days off or even after shift, it's very, very common for you to find our residents hanging out together, whether it's in the park, at a restaurant, or at each other's houses. They often even go on trips together, as you can see from this photo of folks on the ski mountain. It's a really great place to be when you want to hang out with the people you've just spent an 8 or 9 hour shift, even longer after you're done. Just a few more pictures of people out and about. All right, our last section here. It's very important that you learn all that you can during residency and that you have a good time doing it. But ultimately, the reason that you're here is to be prepared for your ultimate dream job. And Northwestern is exceptionally poised to be able to do that for you. This is a map showing a distribution of where our alumni are. As you can see, we have graduates in almost every state where there is a major presence in emergency medicine. We don't have anybody yet in Montana, Wyoming, or Idaho, but we're looking for you. So if you're coming to us from the northern Great Plains, we would love to train you and send you back home to be able to expand our presence. What this also means is that no matter where you want to work, there's going to be someone in that market that trained at Northwestern that can help you get a foot in the door. This is incredibly important, particularly in years like this, where the market is quite tight. Not only do we have people spread across the country in some of the largest markets for emergency medicine, but we also have people that go straight into fellowship. These are pictures of our last 4 graduating classes, and all of the arrows are people that went into fellowship. These are things from administration to education to EMS to sports medicine. We also have folks in our current 4th-year class that are going into toxicology. So pretty much any part of emergency medicine that you're interested in pursuing a fellowship, we've put someone there and we can help you along the way. In addition to fellowship, many of our graduates actually go straight into leadership roles. This is actually fairly uncommon in the world of emergency medicine, where you often have to spend time just working clinically before you're able to get a title. These are those same recent graduating classes, and in each of these arrows is a person who has an assistant medical director or medical director role. This includes here within our system at Lake Forest, but also large democratic groups like Vituity, as well as other large academic institutions like Penn and Columbia. Other leadership roles include in education. So just as it's hard to get a job with a title straight out of residency in administration, it is also incredibly rare to go straight into education leadership from graduation. You're looking at those graduates one more time, and this time each of the arrows is pointing to someone who is actually appointed an assistant program director immediately upon graduating, which we're incredibly proud of. So as you can see, there's a lot of different pathways that you can enter once you graduate from a residency. A large portion of our folks go straight into practice, but about 18% go into fellowship. You can also see the breakdown of those leadership roles as I talked about before. This takes into account the last 10 years of our graduates. If you want to look at the type of site that our alumni are practicing in, you can see it's actually pretty evenly divided. We have about a quarter of folks practicing in university-based academic sites, about a quarter in the straight community, and then another quarter that are in a hybrid sort of community academic setting, with the remainder being in fellowship immediately upon graduation. So I hope that you've gotten a lot of information out of this presentation, and I'm really glad you've spent this time listening to me talk. I know that it's a long video. So why do we think you should come train at Northwestern Emergency Medicine? Because you want a world-class clinical education across a multitude of practice sites, as well as amazing extra-clinical leadership skill development in a vibrant and diverse urban environment surrounded by outstanding and accomplished faculty and residents, and because you want to end up in your dream job. Thank you, and I look forward to talking with all of you in your Zoom interviews.